and there's bits of battery corrosion all... Oh, that didn't sound good. Oh, let's see if I can show you this. So there's the spring for the battery contact. You see it's all moving around inside there and covered in battery corrosion. That's what we've got to sort out today. And I'm going to feel like an absolute legend, or I'm going to burn myself or burn my house down. Hello and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to be attempting to fix at least one of these two vintage calculators. There'll be links to my original videos about these two calculators. There are also clocks as well in the description box. And I bought this one because it was working, and it was actually working for a little while on my desk. Really nice, looks fantastic, functions properly, but it didn't have a battery cover. So shortly after winning this one, or putting an offer in and getting this one, I won this one as well, and this one did have the battery cover, but this one was sold as not working. This one was sold as working. The problem is it only worked for a little while and then stopped working. And the problem with it is there's been some battery corrosion on the battery terminal there. And what has happened is, if you can see all the way down inside there, apologies for the focus, that piece of wire goes under the circuit board and it's supposed to be attached on with some solder on the other side of the circuit board. But due to the battery corrosion, that solder has come detached and it's losing its connection. So it was like that when I bought it, but it just happened that when I plugged it in, put the battery in, it was making a contact, and now it won't make a contact at all. So these are very difficult to get into on these ones. So what I'm going to do, even though this one is the better looking one, it hasn't lost any of its paint in there. This one is the one where the circuit board's in the better condition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to practice repairing this one, and if I mess it up it won't make it any worse, and then I'll be able to go on to fix this one. We'll see how we get. We'll see how we do on that. But I've got the windows open. You can hear the birds in the background and some traffic noise, because I will need to do to show you a good illustration of how an amateur solderer can probably make a few mistakes. So let me get set up and we'll get going. So just to review quickly what the benefits of this is, it's got a time function, so it's a clock, and it also has a calculator, basic calculator function, a vacuum fluorescent display, and it can also do time calculations. So you can put in 2 hours, 15 minutes and 4 seconds, plus 3 hours, 35 minutes and 6 seconds, and it will tell you what the total of those two are. And there's also, I think, up to 5 alarms, so you can set 5 alarms on this as well. I really like the look of them. I've taken out the screw on there. Yeah, the screw's still on there. And I've figured out how to get these clips off. It was really difficult on the other video when I was trying to get the clips off. But now I've figured that out. So, okay, I must try and take my time on this. Could probably do with a bit more light on the subject, so I might get my lights out in a minute. Okay, so that spring there, let's zoom in a little bit. That spring there goes underneath this circuit board, and you can see how badly corroded that board is there. That's basically, I think, although, yeah, it's corroded all the way along this line as well. I thought for a minute that's quite sharp edge there was where there was some other surface applied to the circuit board. So I did try and take out all these screws, but they're buried under this board. And I don't want to have to desolder this, but I might have to. Right, so I watched a couple of YouTube videos where someone took these apart. But they really know what they're doing, and one of them had already taken it apart and just showed us what it was like after it was taken apart. So I think this is a clip that holds this circuit board on, and what I've got to do, these metal contacts here, you can angle the circuit board up on those metal pins, but it's held in I assume this is an electrical contact here, but there's no screws. That screw there I think just holds the speaker in place, so I'm not going to take that out. So I think that's all I've got to do. I've got to push this off. Okay, I'm going to have a look off camera because I don't want to break it. Okay, so what I've done, it smells of old electronics. This part here I think is an electrical contact, but what I've done is I've pulled that in this direction. I'm going to see if I can lever up the circuit board once that's out of the way. Oh, I think I've done it. Oh, right, okay. Oh my god. Okay, I appear to be doing it correctly. And there's bits of battery corrosion all... Oh, that didn't sound good. Floating loose inside here. I don't know what I've just... Something just snapped off. I'm going to zoom you in a bit. Hopefully I'll keep it all in shot still. So there's the vacuum fluorescent tube. I've no idea what this piece of spring is for. So we need to get on the other side. Oh, let's see if I can show you this. So there's the spring for the battery contact. You see it's all moving around inside there and covered in battery corrosion. That's what we've got to sort out today. But to get to the other side of the circuit board, probably shouldn't even be touching that. I've got to undo all these screws. Now the problem I've got is if I lever this up anymore, it seems to get caught on the outer shell, and then it's just going to put pressure to pull these out of position. So let's see what I'm going to do here. Oh, that's better. So I have to push it down in this direction so it clears the case, and then bend it up and hopefully not break the pins. So can I get to all the screws now? Now it's absolute months since I bought these, and I can't remember now how much I paid for them. Oh, missed a screw. So I'm going to put that up on the screen now. The amount I paid for the supposedly working one will be up on the screen now, and the amount I paid for the one that wasn't working is up on the screen now. And the reason again I bought the one that isn't working is I wanted just the battery cover, and I think it's this battery cover here. I thought it was worth paying that to make sure I had a complete one. So this is the one that wasn't working. Ooh, it doesn't sound too good. Ah, there's some pins. So it's got to come out. It's got to come out all at once to clear the pins. Oh my God! I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't see this on the other videos. Oh right, okay. I think we got it. Yeah, we've got it. How about that? Oh, let's have a look at this then. So these are the battery contacts. That one's popped off. God, you've no idea how useful it is to have a pair of tweezers on your desk. Right, let's see if we can get it in shot. There we go, that's that back. We can see there, underneath there, I don't know whether you can see it. Let's get it in shot. is a piece of battery corrosion just underneath there. I'm not going to blow it. And apologies if you're getting all the audio in the left channel at the moment, because I'm looking around the phone to see what I'm doing. Right. So what's that on there? I can pick this up now, can't I might get a Q-tip out and just clean these off. Like, you'd see all the little bits of battery corrosion inside it. I'll decide what to do about that later. So they're the buttons. I'm not going to turn it back over, but they're the buttons, the contacts for the buttons. I might give those a clean up in a minute. Oh, look at the state of those. And that's exactly what this is for. There we go. This fibre tip pen is designed for cleaning up stuff like this. Clean up battery contacts and electrical contacts. So let's have a crack at that first. The problem is it does drop little bits of fiberglass inside whatever you're working on. As you can possibly see there. Okay, I'm going to risk blowing on this now, so I'm going to hold down all these little bits and blow. Right, I don't want to mess with that any more than I need to. I will get some a cotton bud and some Q-tips out later on and clean up some of these bits here. So let's move on to the major job, which is have a look at this battery contacts here. So look at the state of that board, and here I can get it to focus right on the edge there. That contact there I'll try and show this to you. That is the battery contact, and it's supposed to be soldered to that part there. What I might do is take that off if I can, because it's going to need cleaning up. There we go. So look at the state of that trace there. Now don't forget, this is the worst one. So I think this is going to be soldered in here. I've got to figure out, I think there might be another trace that runs from here where it's supposed to be soldered down here. That's probably the trace there. So I'm definitely going to need some more light on this. I need to go get my lights sorted out. And while I go and get my lights sorted out, I'm going to get a tiny little container and some vinegar, because this is terribly coated in battery acid, alkaline should I say. So I need to give that a clean up as well. Now I could just scrape it off with this, but that means I might be leaving some of the alkaline on it and it might still be eating into the component. So I think what I'll do is I'll drop it in some vinegar, some white spirit vinegar, and let it soak in there for a little while and then give it a good clean and dry off. Okay, let's pause. You'll see me back in a few seconds, but I'll be a couple of minutes. Right, so I've got my battery operated lights on now, my white vinegar. I'm going to pop some in a little container there. Last time I did this with a different container, I knocked it over all over the desk. And I'm going to pop our little thing in there, make sure it's covered. You'll probably see it fizzing actually when it... So if that alkaline on the battery corrosion is still active, then it should start fizzing. And it is. Look at that. So that's cool. So I'll put that just out of shot, and that's going to sit there for a little while and get itself sorted out. I've had to turn the room lights off, and I've got two battery powered, let me show you the messy setup here. Two sort of battery operated lights on a power bank at the back there. But if you leave the room lights on, then you get some sort of like weird effect on the camera where the room lights are a different frequency to either these lights or the battery lights or the camera, and it just gets annoying when you're trying to watch it. So right, so let's give this a clear up then. Ooh. I've got to be careful. Look at that. I don't think you should be able to see that trace like that. Yeah, so the God, what do they call it? It's not solder mask. It's there's like a mask over the top of this, which is green to protect it, and it's just been eaten away by the battery acid, or the battery alkaline, should I say? Oh no, it's all rough. I'm going to have to use a screwdriver on this. I don't want to. Not a screwdriver. A toothbrush. So I'll go get one of those. Back in a minute. Right, so I've taken the opportunity to use the last of my brand new children's toothbrushes. I think it was a 5-pack for £1 or something like that. Because when I was using the cotton bud, the cotton was getting caught on the circuit board. I feel like retro reselling doing this. Not retro reselling, what am I talking about? The Retro Future, Elliot at the Retro Future. He does this on his Game Boys. Now I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to be able to see any of these traces here. I'm going to try and zoom in. I'm already on 2 times, but I'm going to zoom in a bit further on that. Oh, that's not looking good, is it? So sorry about that. We're at 5 times now and it's hard to keep it steady. So that trace there should be attached there. I think this is beyond help, this one, because I don't have anything I can replace these traces with. And I don't think I'll be able to... So that goes there to that pad. So that pad there is where this trace goes. And I think it's broken. And I think it's actually touching the other trace as well. Let me see if I can get a better look off camera. I'm really sorry about the funny camera angle here. So that trace is fine, but it's got a load of corrosion on it. Ew, that trace might be fine too. I'm not sure what I'm taking off there. You'll be able to see a lot better than I can what's going on here. Because I'm looking at it with the naked eye. You're in a 5 times zoom on a 1080p camera, and you might be watching on a 30-inch monitor, so you'll get a much better view than I have. But I wonder whether that'll be alright. But obviously this is all supposed to be green. This is like the solder, not the solder, what do they call it? It's like a paint that you put over the top to protect it and stop it shorting out. I don't know, I think we might be alright on that. Give me a cotton bud again. Right, I'm going to get some IPA. in all honesty, this is beyond my capabilities. This is beyond the level of expertise I have. On the other hand, pretty much everything on my channel was beyond my level of expertise before I started the channel. Oh, it's not getting caught on the cotton bud anymore. You know, I think we might be alright with that. So I'm going to use the cotton bud now and my IPA, which I can no longer see, to give it a good clean all over all of this board and try and keep it in shot and try and knock the camera too much. Because I've now it's covered in vinegar, which is also corrosive. Right, hang on. So if I keep the vinegar on there, then that could corrode the board just as much as the alkaline I've just taken off. So yeah, look at that. The advantages of having a pump action, a spray IPA bottle. What I should have done is I should have set up my phone to cast a screencast to a portable monitor I've got. I think I could do that again, and that way I would have been able to see a lot more in a lot more detail than I can see at the moment looking at my phone screen or around the phone. Right, now this is my practice one, so I'm not too worried, but it would be nice to get it working. I think we can have another spray actually. What I'm using is like a tissue, like a for blowing your nose type of tissue. I call them facial tissues, which sounds like something else, but right, so what worries me is what's this little mark here? Let's get me cotton bud and some IPA and see if I can take that off. I think it's just where this green stuff's lifting off a little bit. Okay, right. Now this is the contact for the battery. So I'm going to use this fibre tip pencil on this. There we go, let's get it in a shot if I can. And this is the bit I think I'm going to have to solder in a minute. I'll stay over the other side, can you see? Now I don't want to put anything on there because that feels porous to me. I don't want to pour anything on there like vinegar because I think it's just going to seep into the circuit board. So I'm going to ignore that part. Let's have a look at that bit in there. If you're an electronics expert, then please try and stop laughing and you can have a look at that. You might enjoy that. Right, okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to give it a final clean up once I've tried to solder this, because there's all bits of battery in there as well, battery corrosion in there. So let's try and work on the little clip here. Still looking pretty manky, isn't it? I might just show my hands now looking at that. God, I hope the lighting comes out on this. I've never shot just on these battery operated lights before. I might come to editing it and there'll be nothing to see. God, it's well encrusted. Oh, it could be solder, I suppose. Yeah, I bet there's solder on there. Okay, so we need to give that a big... what are we going to do? We're going to douse that in IPA. And I'm going to use the right tool for the job, hopefully, which is this little thing here. Now, I'm a bit worried about what you're seeing now because the camera screen looks very dark. That could be just because the brightness on the camera screen is automatically adjusted to low because there's no light, no ambient light, no room light shining onto the sensor on the phone. You might just think it's a dark environment, so it's reduced the brightness. Well, it feels a bit matte, but it feels a lot better than it did before. Right, so let's have a little bit of a clear up, get rid of that. That looks awful, doesn't it? So does my desk. Let's push everything to one side, I think. Right. Now then, I'm going to stretch this spring a little bit and hopefully not break it. That's better. Now that bit goes in there. Like that. And I think I'm going to turn the soldering iron on. So I think that is supposed to be soldered in place there. Oh, you can't see it, can you? And that's why it was flopping around, because that part there should be soldered. So I've got to figure out how I'm going to do this. And that should be more at that angle, I think. So let's get another tissue, fresh tissue. No, tissue's not going to cut it. Let's use one of these. That's better. Right, so the plan is pop a blob of solder to cover that there, make a contact between this part here, which I think is solder, and this part here, which I think used to have solder as well. So I don't have any flux. If you saw the earlier video and you know what you're talking about my soldering kit, you'll have noticed I don't have any flux. The reason for that is I probably only do soldering maybe once a year, something like that, and flux doesn't keep, so you'd end up paying about £8 for a bottle of flux, use a tiny little bit and then throw the rest away because it goes out of date. So I think what I'm going to do, This is only the practice one, so I'm going to need to clear a bit of space because I'm not going to be able to solder safely around all this stuff. So let me do that first. So this is not a good way of organising your workbench for soldering. I just took a still photo on my other phone for this, which I'll put up on screen now, and you can see that this is not an ideal way of working. Too many bits on the table, but it's my hobby doing this YouTube stuff. So we have my thing for my getting the solder off. We've got solder. Actually, I'm going to switch that out for another one. Because that one had a load of glue on it, like the sticky glue from the packaging. So we've got this lead-free solder. I don't know what that means, but I think this might have a resin core in it. I don't know, I've no idea. Really got no idea. I've bought it so long. It's from Maplins and they've been closed for about 3 years now. Right, so let's zoom in. Now I'm not shooting around the camera. I'm looking around the camera at the moment. So I think I've got that right. Right, I think this is either going to work and I'm going to feel like an absolute legend, or it's going to not work and I'm going to feel like an absolute buffoon, or I'm going to burn myself or burn my house down, in which case I'm not going to be very happy. So let's have a go at this then. Teeny little tip. Oh yeah, definitely need some flux. What do you reckon? Now I'm in a bit of a trouble now then, because I have no flux. And this solder joint is terrible. No, that's not going to work, is it? Oh no, disaster. After all this effort. Okay, let me have a think. You know what? That's stuck. That's no longer moving. I actually did it. It's got to be probably the world's worst solder joint though. Let's see if I can get in there. Look at that crusty dusty thing. Let's try and focus. But it has worked. What time is it? 7:46. Back in a tick. Here we go. Straight to Amazon. I've got Amazon Prime, so I've got Prime. My filters are get it tomorrow, and it's 7:47 PM now, and I've put it in the order of the best customer reviews. I wonder if there's one I recognise in here. What I want is a little pen, like a little dispenser like this. Not a pen, a syringe. And I can't remember, there was a brand of solder flux I saw someone who was giving a tutorial on YouTube, and he used it. I thought if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. Oh, look at that. And £20. Oh my god. It's a lot to be spending for a single use on a calculator that probably cost me about £50. I don't even know what I'm looking for here. Right, so this is no clean flux paste, 10mm, £11.95. Delivery tomorrow, I think. And bearing in mind it's 5 to 8 now on Wednesday evening. Don't want to subscribe and save. One-time purchase. That's a bit fancy, isn't it? That looks about right. We're going to get some of that. I'll do the other one with that tomorrow, hopefully, if I get time. So bye now. Hopefully it doesn't show my details. Oh, there we go. Bit of an edit there because it was showing my name and address, which wouldn't be good. So 12 quid for fixing this tomorrow. Oh, it's come off again. Oh, look at that. it's come off. So yeah, hopefully I'm going to have a go at resoldering this actually, because it did take. But then for the other one, this is my practice, don't forget. For the other one tomorrow, if I get time to shoot the video, I'm going to use flux paste as well to clean this up, and hopefully I won't get this problem with the solder bobbling up. So let's have a go, see if we can get some more on this. I just want to see whether it's going to work. Right, soldering iron. Let's zoom you in. That solder tip doesn't look very good, does it? Oh, what a nasty mess. I hope you're not watching. You know who you are, you expert solderer. I hope you're not watching. If you are, put your laughter in the comments. Right, it is actually soldered. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to put it back together. I'm going to get all these bits of battery corrosion out of here. Now I think these are bits that have just fallen off of somewhere else. I don't think it's not spread down to here. It's just bits of corrosion have dropped into the case. So I don't really want it on there, do I? So we'll do our best to have a little clean up of some of this. And then I'm going to put it together and see if it actually works. It'll be a miracle if it works, I tell you. Bit of a blow, it's all over the place, all over this side as well. And I noticed there was some on the other board. That will do for now. Let's see if I can carefully put it back together again. I've got to clean these bits off here because they're a bit manky. And I'm just going to use the IPA directly. I'm in a bit of a rush now because it's getting quite late. And I haven't had tea or anything. Right, so now that I can't tip upside down because they'll all fall to pieces. Got a bit of hair on there from the cotton swab. So this one I think goes in like this. Oh, that's right, there was little plastic inserts, wasn't there? Little plastic tabs. That's it, so it goes under this bit here. Oh, it's down, I think it's down now. Is it? Okay. Oh, has that come off again? Oh, it's come off again. Actually, it's quite solid. Right, we'll see how it goes. This is a voiceover while editing. What follows in the original footage is just a long sequence of me trying to get the thing put back together again, which didn't add anything to the video. So to make sure the video is a little bit shorter, I've edited that all out, and you'll be able to see me putting this back together again in a future video. Something doesn't quite feel right here. Now I've actually got to go the whole hog and close the case back up just to test whether it works or not. Okay. Batteries. We have two of this type of battery. Oh no, look. The contacts aren't matching up down there. Oh well, let's see what happens. I think they've got to go in this way around. That one's springy, that one isn't. Oh well, let's get... Oh sorry, I don't know whether you can see that. Oh, that's too loose. Yep, I just broke it again. It's all flopping around. Oh, god damn it. So, I was totally disappointed after this fail. I'd spent a lot of time on trying to fix it and I don't like not succeeding. So what I did was I put up a short video on YouTube asking everyone generally whether I should put this up as a fail to fix video. And at the point of me editing this now, the responses were 100% yes, put it up. It shows that you're learning as you're doing it and it might help other people not to make those same mistakes again. So based on those responses, I shot another video which will be going up shortly, and in that video I get a little bit further on the repair of this practice device, and I do learn some extra useful things which I might be able to apply to other videos in the future. So thanks for watching through this video. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already so you can catch the future episodes in this little series of repair videos for this calculator, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.